Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today we're extremely excited to be talking with you about our second buddy read. This is really fun. I'm happy that we're doing this.
I feel like this buddy read has something for both of us. It's got a sheep for you. It's a video game theme for me.
I mean, really all I need is a sheep.
It's perfect.
I saw the sheep in the picture and was like, it's added to the list.
Well, and I didn't realize how involved the sheep was going to be. I thought it would be just like a fun little fluff character, but it's a main character.
It's a main character.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about it. And honestly, I don't think we've even mentioned what the title is to everyone.
We have not. I was just thinking that.
So, welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the buddy read that Alex and I have started in addition to Garden of the Dead Flowers. This one is called Choose Your Heroes Carefully. It is available with the Manta subscription. And as of right now, it has 25 episodes. But today we're just going to be discussing the first 10, what we're thinking of the story so far. And if you haven't started reading this one already, you can read along with us. So we open up with our main character waking up in a coffin, which is a little bit surprising to him. He has no idea what's going on. He is curious as to whether or not he's been buried alive and is just waking up for the first time, because if you don't remember being in a coffin, I think you'd have some questions too.
Being buried alive is one of my biggest fears.
Well, yeah, that sounds horrifying. Actually, sounds pretty fun.
I'm just saying, like, as a fear, I remember being in, like, kindergarten, I think, and they were putting in a new seesaw in our playground, and there was a hole, like, a huge hole. I don't know actually how big it was. I was small, so it was bigger than me. And I remember going and looking at it and thinking, oh my gosh, if I fall in this hole, no one's ever going to find me, and I'm going to have to live and die here.
Oh my God. So, the dark thoughts of a child.
So just in case you were wondering if I've always had anxiety, I have.
I mean, Exhibit A, honestly. Yeah, I did not think like that. I mean, as a grown adult, now that I, like, know and can process it, don't want to be buried alive. I'm pretty content, you know, being alive and not in a coffin.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's where he is.
Yeah. He doesn't have much of a choice.
We see that he was playing a game that his friend, his company is promoting. So he's like, hey, can you go play this game and leave a review for us? And it's a gacha game. So he's just starting to, like, go along with the screens, and they get into the backstory of the game. And next thing he knows, he is in the coffin.
Yeah. I will say, he starts talking about the backstory of this game. And interestingly enough, the Angel of Death is also supposed to awaken in a coffin. So throughout the entire beginning of it, I was very curious as to whether or not he's supposed to be the Angel of Death in this game.
I didn't even pick that up. I bet he is the Angel of Death.
So just throwing that out there
We've
for everyone.
solved the whole thing already.
Yeah, I'm just saying, guys, there's no cats or grandmas, but I basically got this one in the bag.
But there is a sheep.
There is a sheep, and I'm in my element.
Yeah.
But he does start describing the background of the game, and really, you're just trying to summon these heroes to help defeat these shadows and all of the, you know, creatures that are basically haunting this entire world. So once they do, and they're brought back to life, the people who can bring them back, these heroes, are called the summoners. Mm-hmm. And that's who you're playing as in the game.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to go in, summon a hero, and you guys together can defeat those monsters.
Yeah, so basically it's seen as, like, the summoner is the one giving the directions and the hero is the one executing the plan.
Yeah.
Also, the monsters, the shadows, they are so creepy.
Yeah, the design is pretty great.
It gives you a preview of them during this little intro scene. And even just seeing those, it's very, like, lamprey-esque and just super creepy. So definitely not a place that I would want to land.
No, definitely not. But as he turns on this game, he's, you know, getting the opening scenes, all the dialogue, everything like that. And he starts to get really sleepy out of nowhere and kind of just dozes off. And then, you know, we're brought to, he's awakened in this world and has no idea what's going on, says, must be a dream, fell asleep playing this game. This is ridiculous. why would somebody bury this character alive? And I'm definitely not in Korea. And he's not. He's in the middle of nowhere in a forest.
And at this point, he runs into Annie's favorite character.
My absolute favorite. The sheep. His name is Mesarthim.
Yes.
And he is the sassiest sheep ever.
Oh my gosh. So many moods. Just the greatest. You can see him swing wild from super happy to super angry to super upset, just all over the place. I love it.
I will say, I'm taking an aside. Mesarthim is very similar to like the kind of like an overarching like helpful character or a guide throughout a game. But also, if anyone has ever seen the anime Konosuba, it kind of reminds me of the introductory scenes there where the main character passes away and he's speaking with the goddess who's making fun of him, basically, and they don't get along. Like, they butt heads the entire time. That is Shane and Mesarthim.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
It's pretty great.
Mesarthim also reminds me of Jelly from I Can See Your Stats. That was the first thing that I thought of. It's just very similar style of character.
Yeah.
Only Mesarthim can talk, Jelly cannot.
Yeah, a little more personality there.
Yeah.
But right away, Mesarthim is trying to help Shane get acquainted to the game by letting him pick his name, which he picks as Shane. And once he's done this, he's kind of trapped in the game. Mesarthim tricks him and says, oh, you know, pick your name. And now he cannot leave the game until he reaches the end of this world, is what he's told.
Yeah. And he's still thinking that this is a dream. Mesarthim shows him a map and starts explaining what he has to do in this game. And this is where he really figures out that he has fallen asleep in the game that he was playing.
Yeah. It's not processing right away.
Yeah.
Like, automatically he's just like, okay, well, when I wake up, it's whatever. And then he keeps just trying to relate this world to the world that he already knows. So automatically, Mesarthim is trying to explain this game, all the different monsters, giving him previews of them, which are very realistic and literally throw him back. And he's starting to get an idea of the fact that this demonstration isn't just a dream anymore. He's actually not where he thought he was. So there's not a whole lot for him to do other than he has to continue following Mesarthim, who he kind of pisses off pretty early on.
So he keeps following Mesarthim, and he follows him to this altar where he learns about a soul stone, which is how you resurrect the heroes. And at this point, he also learns that the heroes are generated randomly. They have a star rating. So, of course, you want to get the highest rating, a 5-star hero. And he is saying, oh, so if I don't get the 5-star hero, I can just restart the game and try and cheat the system until I get a 5-star hero. And Mesarthim is like, absolutely not. You're stuck.
He gets so upset about it. And I love Mesarthim. Like, he has these beady little red eyes. And I love when he just squints in anger at Shane and goes, is that how it works in your real world? You just escape your problem.
He's like, you're so privileged in that world.
And so he's just like, yeah, that's not what this is. Like, very quickly just turns that down. And in their little squabble, the stone and the card that they need to put together to summon a hero, like, throughout the arguments, end up accidentally coming together. So he just summons a hero, not meaning to in the first place. And it's been a bit of a rough start for Shane, unfortunately.
It's the same hero that we see from when he was playing the actual game. So I wonder if it is almost same path. Like, he was starting to play the game, he got sucked into it, so that same character is the one that he was drawn to.
Yeah.
But we see the hero that he has. He doesn't know anything about this hero. He's just lying on the ground. He's like, why is he sleeping? I am not jazzed about this. What am I gonna do? They start getting attacked by a shadow, and the shadow is super, super creepy. It's got like a ton of faces. It's crying, like trying to lure him out of the cabin that they're in.
Yeah, at first he does think it's like several different villagers. He's like, oh, wow, someone's crying. Actually, it's more than one person. And then he realizes he doesn't hear any footsteps. So he immediately is concerned because he woke up in this hero's arms, has no idea who this hero is. And now the hero's not waking up and he's about to have to face this monster himself with no weapons. So he just grabs a shovel. He's like, okay.
Yeah, he lost the sword that he was supposed to have. He like left it at the coffin. Is probably where he left it. You know, though, all of the things going on, I'm not surprised his first thought wasn't, well, let me just grab this sword real quick.
Yeah, like you would think that if you're playing a game that it would like spawn different weapons, things like that. And it took him long enough to process the fact that this was a game in the first place. So, yeah, he wasn't thinking about that. But he learns very quickly that that shovel is not going to work because these shadows cannot be touched by any sort of mortal items or mortals in general. They can touch them, which is super unfair.
Yeah.
But since he does not have the powers of God bestowed upon him or the God of this world and these light powers, he cannot defeat this creature alone.
Yeah.
And so Mesarthim is trying to help him wake the hero and says, like, you have to give him a command. Like, he's just there until you tell him what to do.
Yeah, he's not asleep. He's inactive. You need to wake him up. And Shane is having trouble with this, partly to do with the fact that he is being strangled by this shadow.
Literally
now.
can't breathe.
So I've got to say, you know, give him a little bit of credit here. He was panicking, and eventually he kind of stumbles on commanding the hero. And then the hero wakes up, takes the shovel, and now it has that golden sunlight energy that can destroy the shadows, and he attacks the shadow and it instantly kills the shadow, and they're able to kind of move on from this.
Yeah, so he does get to defeat it, and he's kind of just trying to come to terms with everything that's happening. It's all very quick. It's all very fast-paced, and he's not really, you know, able to adjust as quickly as he'd like. But after he realizes that his hero is able to chop off the arm and then actually defeat the monster with the commands that he gave, he kind of takes a deep breath and starts processing everything. So he is very curious as to what his hero's powers are, who his hero is. And fortunately, Mesarthim does give him the abilities of all of the pop-up windows. Like you would have in a game where you can see character bios, you know, all of the different items that you have in your satchel, whatever else. So very quickly, he's trying to get acquainted with his hero, and he realizes that his hero doesn't know who he is, and so he has very limited information on him as well.
I do wonder if him not knowing who he is a part of the game or if it's a glitch in the game. It's not clear on like if that's just something you're supposed to find out or if it's something that this hero specifically just forgot who he is.
Well, so it's interesting because I have some theories, because the hero in the intro of the game when Shane starts playing it is in the coffin.
Yeah.
But since Shane woke up in the coffin, I wonder if he almost took his place.
He dislodged him.
And like dislodged
memories.
him, yeah. And so I think maybe he caused some sort of a glitch in the game.
Yeah, maybe. But he is able to see some things. So he's able to see that he is, drumroll, a 2-star hero.
Immediately upset.
Yeah. And to his credit, he does try and hide this from the hero. He's like trying to not make him feel bad, but also trying to say, can we get a better hero over here? And can't find out any stats yet about like what his abilities are or any background, like we said, of the character. So it's just, he's not thrilled by what he's finding.
He's not. He does, when he pulls Mesarthim aside, he's also not very tactful about it. Like, he's loud enough that the hero definitely hears him and is a little irked in the process of like, wow, thanks for pointing out that I'm super weak.
I feel like the hero is almost like polite to a fault. Like he's just so nice about it. I don't know. It almost gives me one of those, almost a grumpy sunshine. Shane is being grumpy about this all, and the hero is just sunshine and rainbows and like nothing can hurt us and looking on the bright side, and I love the hero.
I do too. So he does see in the bio that there's a quote underneath it where it says, I, Meltier Versta, have failed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what it means, but the hero wants to be called by a name. He's having him call him Shane, which the hero immediately calls him Master Shane. And he's kind of like, just Shane is fine. That's okay.
Oh, we also didn't mention that at the very beginning, he wants to call Mesarthim Ba.
Can we just take an aside to say, is that not just the best video game move ever of naming your characters the dumbest stuff?
Yeah.
I remember like back in the day playing on the Game Boy Advance, like Pokemon, like Ruby or whatever. And I just remember like vivid memories of, I believe my sister or my brother naming their character Shit. Because then they go, oh shit, I didn't see you there. And just like the dumbest names so that when they pop up, they make you happy. So it is very funny. But he's not skilled at naming characters. He's made it clear.
Yeah.
His creativity, not there. So he does end up just saying, I think that this might be your name.
Yeah.
I don't know what you failed at. And the hero's like, couldn't tell you.
Who's to say?
I don't remember.
Maybe it's because I'm a 2-star hero.
Yeah. And then they end up pulling up Shane's stat window and he's level 1.
And he's trying to hide it from him.
Because he just made such a big deal about the hero being level 2 and he's even worse. So, there is that. But yeah, I mean, he's really trying to make this work for him, but he's just going to have to work with what he's got.
Yeah. At this point, we also see that Shane starts to get hungry, and he's communicating. Neither of his companions get hungry and need to eat. He's the only one. And so he's thinking, all right, we got to figure out a food system here because I don't want to just die from starvation while I'm here. Mm-hmm. So he wants to get food, or he is given the option of getting food as a daily reward. Yeah. Because he has asked for daily rewards. And what other type of rewards did he ask for?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. But like basically rewards at different levels of the game to help progress.
It was a side quest reward.
Yeah, side quest reward. And Mesarthim has no idea really what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. I don't think that this is how the game works. Shane is just trying to make it work for himself.
He's like, this is how games work in my world, so this is how it's going to work here.
Yeah.
And again, we go back to the beginning where Mesarthim is like, you are so privileged. You just get gifts for coming here every day.
But Mesarthim feels a little guilty. And Shane is kind of trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Mesarthim is like, I'm really sorry that this is happening to you and that you don't really know what's going on. Like, he did a pretty poor job at explaining things.
Intentionally.
He got a little mad.
Yeah.
A little petty.
He lets Shane think that it's a dream until it's absolutely necessary to tell him that it's not a dream.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he kind of deserves a reward, I guess.
It's true. But so he ends up choosing to not use the daily reward for that. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't want to do that unless it's worst case scenario because we'll need things like a sword for Meltier. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't, how is he going to defeat any of these monsters?
He's just going to have to keep using this shovel.
Yeah, which he can do. We've seen. He's like, oh, I can use whatever I want as a weapon, so it's fine. But Meltier ends up going and hunting food for him, and they're picking like different food along the way, which Shane makes him taste test.
Yeah, Shane makes Mesarthim taste test these like cherry tomato looking things, but they're so sour apparently unless you cook them. And Mesarthim is not happy about this.
I know. He's pretty upset. But again, there's kind of that like, I don't know, you can't really be upset about it because it's half your fault. So they kind of get to do that nice back and forth. But they do learn pretty quickly that they have a few of the basic skills, like a basic attack skill, a strike skill, etc. And as you progress, you will gain more experience, which means that your skills will progress and more like that, which does level up your hero. My question at this point is, how is he leveling up? If you're always leveling up your hero?
Probably like with the number of heroes that you get.
Yeah.
And the number of side quests maybe. Or different things like that.
Yeah.
I love this part though, where he's trying to specify the range of the different attacks and the spawnability of the different attacks to kind of come up with a definite system of, okay, this is when we should use the basic attack. This is when we should use the strike attack. Here's the range that these have. I love this. The nerd in me was absolutely in love with this part. We see too that Meltier kind of realizes that he is unable to change anything about his attacks. So Shane is saying that he was planning on doing an average of all of the attacks to kind of get the average of what it would be, but it's the exact same time and the exact same distance every single time.
Yeah.
And Meltier realized this in the middle of this test that they're doing and tried to vary his swing and vary the style a little bit and was unable to do so, which they're both kind of assuming is because he was brought back from the dead and is not a human.
Yeah, almost like he's tied to his past actions and his past weapon, etc. So he can still do things pretty fast, but they basically start training to test out his abilities and see what they could do. They do have Mesarthim create a stopwatch because he's asking for a stopwatch function and he has to explain what it is because they don't have one.
And they make him an analog one. He's like, wow, I wish that this were digital, but I guess this is fine.
You know what? Like, the entire time I was reading this, I was just like, it'd be pretty cool if you were happy with what you got. Like, I get that you're kind of upset, Shane, but, like, they're trying. Also, I do side with Mesarthim just because he's adorable.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I side with Meltier because I absolutely love him. The red eyes.
The
Beautiful.
I will say Mesarthim also has red eyes.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's a...
This world thing.
Yeah, this world has red eyes.
Maybe. Who knows?
So they go to the city to find some items.
And they end up finding another shadow in the trees. So basically, Meltier makes it very clear he cannot act upon basically anything without being commanded by his summoner. So he just kind of stands there. There's another monster, these shadows of lamentable faces that appear when they're on their way to the city to get items, things like that. And Meltier's just standing there waiting for Shane to tell him what to do, which Shane is getting extremely nervous and antsy because he just wants them dead. So they're trying to get a little bit more information on it. They pull up the stat window and he can now see like their health stats because they've come up against them before. And he has a little bit better of an idea of how to defeat this enemy because he and Meltier have already gone up against it.
Yeah.
Though Shane didn't do so well by himself. But now he is working with Meltier a little bit better. And so he just basically says, I want to see what you can do. And Meltier is more than happy to show off his capabilities. So Shane just hides behind a tree. The brave soul that he is.
He makes Meltier do his basic attack this time instead of the strike attack, which he did before. And this kind of goes into his research of seeing what is the refresh rate and like when is the good time to use a different attack depending on what monsters they're fighting. And after all of this testing, they run into an issue when Shane runs out of mana and he is exhausted all of a sudden. He can't go on anymore because the hero is constantly consuming the mana from him.
Yeah. I will say, I think we also skipped over the fact that when Shane basically congratulates Meltier after like breaking down what attacks are more powerful, like his special attack is 8 times more powerful than the normal attack, etc. He ends up telling Meltier that he's his one and only special hero. And Meltier is so touched by this.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And it was so beautiful. And basically he's just like, please use me to the best of my worth. It's so cute.
It reminds me of, I know that there's something that you've read like this too, but the one that I'm thinking of is the assassin following this guy around, and the guy is like, oh, this guy's really in love with me and he keeps trying to do nice things for me, and the assassin like tries to cut his brakes on his car, and the guy's like, he tried to fix my car for me. Like it's giving that same vibe.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Shane is definitely out for himself, but Meltier is kind of just golden retriever energy. Like any and all attention from Shane at this point is good attention.
Yeah.
And so once Shane realizes that his mana is running out, he basically just says, rest on my shoulder. It'll help you, regain all of your mana quicker if you get some rest. And so you can just sleep right here. Mm-hmm. And it's very cute to see them together.
They do also have a kind of heart-to-heart where they're both kind of saying, Meltier's like, I know that I'm not the greatest hero. I'm probably not your first choice, but you don't know what you're doing either, so like let's stick together and like let's just do the best that we can. And I feel like that really lifts Shane's spirits, and he kind of gets on the good side with them and is trying to see the good things about everything that's happening now.
Yeah, I will say when this one first started, I didn't realize that it was a boy love. And then I was like, no, this is definitely going to be a boy love.
Yeah.
Which made me pretty happy because I do like both of the characters. But it didn't strike me as that in the beginning because it was so game mechanic focused.
Yeah.
That it wasn't like the first thing that came to mind. So I think it's going to be a slow burn for sure when it comes to it. But basically, as Shane is resting, Meltier is just admiring him. And, he basically just says, I know that I'm not alive, but what would happen to me if I incurred damage? Which is important. Yeah. Because if you don't know, like, yes, you're dead technically, but you're moving around.
And he is still able to harm himself, we find out.
Yeah. So you also find out that he recovers with Shane's mana. So they're basically tied together at this point and will rely on each other moving forward throughout this game to keep each other healthy, safe, etc.
Yeah.
But as they're there, they end up making food by the fire, and he does see that, or Meltier basically starts thinking back on the quote that Shane had shown him on the stat window of I, Meltier Versta, had failed. And he doesn't remember what he failed or how, but he's really nervous about it. Because he says that he doesn't want to fail like he did in his past. And he just wants to use this time to make up for whatever it was that he failed at before. But he doesn't even know what that was. So right away, he's just nervous, I think, and just a little bit scared. But ultimately, is he even human? Is he scared? I don't know.
We also see at this point some of the side quests that Mesarthim has given Shane, which I love the side quest. Pat Mesarthim's head is a side quest. Give Mesarthim something good to eat. Compliment Mesarthim. I love these side quests. And those are the ones that haven't been complete.
I have a question. Do you think that this was just Mesarthim has no idea what a side quest is because it wasn't a part of the game? So Mesarthim had to make up like things to be done in this game for them to do. And he's just like, I guess pat my head and give me good food because I want that to happen.
I do.
I think he tried to make it easy.
Yeah, I don't know if he necessarily tried to make it easy as much as he just went with the things that he wanted.
Compliment Mesarthim was my favorite. But he does end up getting a reward, which gives him some money, and it's easy to complete these. So, like, Shane is really jazzed about it. As soon as he wakes up, he's patting his head, and he's like, oh, I'll give you good food. That's fine. But Mesarthim is really curious if he wants just gold or what else he would want from the game rewards.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, items like cloaks and food and money, things that we can buy for materials. And Masartham immediately just says, how materialistic.
So much sass.
The sass is so great. And I swear to you, this healed a part of me to see a sheep story.
You've waited so long.
I've waited so long.
But we've made it to the end of the first 10 episodes, and our 3 heroes have made it to the city. So they're about to go in, and that's where we leave off in this one. So I'm excited to see what happens once they get into the city. Will we meet other heroes and other summoners? Will there be other Masarthams?
Will there be other side quests of patting Masartham's head? These are the important questions.
We need to know.
I know. I will say, if I started playing a game and that was my side quest, I would just do the side quests.
Yeah.
I would never play the main game. It's kind of like how when people play the new Zelda game and it gave you like way too much freedom. Is it Breath of the Wild? Is that the newest one?
I've never played Zelda. I
Couldn't
don't
tell
know.
you. But I think it's the newest Zelda game when you're able to play and it's open world concept. So you can just explore around and do whatever. My husband could have defeated the game in probably like 6 hours. And he played that game for weeks on end, doing everything but saving Zelda.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he was just doing all the side quests. And like, I just remember he was like building random things and doing just random shit of no consequence to the actual game.
I don't like having too much freedom in games. I want one clear path that I have to follow with designated tasks along the way.
This sounds like a good game for you.
Yeah, this one I think I would succeed in. Something like a Minecraft, I know that is really, really popular. We went to the Children's Museum with your husband and brother-in-law and son and daughter, and went to the Minecraft exhibit, and it was really fun, really cool to see, but I could never. I just look at it and I'm like, give me a task. What do I do?
Yeah, I couldn't either. Like, you just give me, I don't know, like a pickaxe and a shovel or something like that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I never have.
It's too much freedom.
It is too much freedom. I do Animal Crossing, though. Like, nice little cozy games that weirdly are still chores outside of real life.
I guess I'm saying I don't like it. I've never even tried to play it.
How dare you?
But it's just not appealing to me.
It's okay to be wrong, Alex.
My type of game, my ideal game is Super Mario Brothers on the Super Nintendo from like
It's a classic.
I don't even know when that's from, but I still have my original system.
It's old.
It's
like
old.
we are.
It's definitely older than I am. The game system that I have, older than me, still works. Still works great.
Yeah.
I'm never giving that up.
That's all that matters, honestly. But I personally don't want to get transported into a game anytime soon, so I will just live vicariously through.
Even if Masartham is there?
Oh, man, it's a toughie. See, here's the problem is like in real life, I would get an actual pet sheep.
I know you would.
And you know I would. Maybe not everybody else listening knows this. I would.
That's a real threat.
That's a real... It wasn't a threat, but that'd be pretty fun to just throw in there. Like, I'll get a sheep. You don't even try me.
That might be a threat from your husband, though. I know that he's all about threatening you with animals.
Yeah, just animals I don't want, like turkeys.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
What turkeys?
Exactly.
You never had turkeys.
I never had turkeys. But anyways, thank you all so much for joining us on this new journey. I'm really excited. This is a bit more upbeat than Garden of the Dead Flowers, which is getting wild and crazy. So looking forward to continuing to read this one. If you haven't started it and you have a Mantis subscription, highly recommend. The characters are adorable. Masartham's my favorite, and he's perfect. I love him. But definitely join along with us. It's great. It's really quick to catch up on. And definitely make sure that you start that one because it's not one of the gem series. Yeah. So I know that's a bit of a controversy still. But anyways, thanks so much for joining us today. Looking forward to talking to you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.